Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 483. We're up to The Lone Ranger from 2013. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, so I never seen this movie, Nate. Have you seen this film before?
I did. I saw this at the theater on like 4th of July of whatever year it came out.
2013.
Okay, 4th of July, 2013. I was at my family's house, went to a pool party, barbecue, all that stuff. And then in the evening, I went to see this movie with my cousin. So I remember, and I have not seen it since. This is only my second time watching it. So it's been 13 years since I've seen it.
You know, it's kind of funny. Like, so my wife, she always knows that what movies we're doing, because she's like, oh, you're setting up your movie to watch during the week. Sometimes she watches and sometimes she don't.
Yeah.
So with this one, it was funny because I'm looking through it on the internet because I don't have the physical copy of it on Blu-ray. So I'm looking, and I'm like, damn, I gotta rent it. So I rent it. She goes, what are you watching? I said, oh, The Lone Ranger. And she goes, that's a movie? I was like, yeah. And I was like, Johnny Depp is Tonto. Yeah. And she goes, wait, Johnny Depp is an Indian? And I said, yes, he is. And she goes, oh my God. But she was like, I passed. And I was like, I'll watch it by myself. But I'll say this, number-wise, Nate?
Yeah.
Crazy numbers.
Okay.
In a bad way.
I didn't look up, I didn't look up the box office for this show. I just looked up the Rotten Tomatoes, so I know those, but I'm interested to hear what happened here.
This is bad, Nate. This is bad. $215 million budget.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
big
expensive movie.
Yes, we know the rule of thumb is for marketing plus everything, you have to have it double. So you got to look at a $500 to $600 million to break even or even more.
Correct.
This movie only grossed $260 million worldwide.
Bomb.
Domestic $89 million. So people did not care for it. And international $171 million at the box office. Now look, for a total $260. It's still good, but they did not even, they made something back, but not enough to even pay off the popcorn makers.
All right. Now, I will say, I did not look up, I don't know, I didn't know the exact box office numbers, but let me go. I did see something when I was doing my, when I was looking into this movie, because, right now the theme of the movies we're doing are TV shows turned movies. Okay. Now, this started as like one of those radio shows. This is like really old Lone Ranger. But then it was a TV show in the 50s, I believe. And yeah, I do think when I looked at that, so the budget, like you said, was $215 million. $215, right. But it had a $150 million marketing budget. So it was actually almost $400 million. So this was actually a huge bomb. It says it is one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. It lost Disney between $160 and $190 million loss. So a huge, as we call it, a floppity-doo. It did not do very well at all.
Very floppity doodah. And the crazy thing is what I don't understand with Disney or the person that greenlighted this movie, what in God's green earth that you think this movie was going to generate so much? And now, again, Johnny Depp was really hot at the time with Pirates of the Caribbean. I totally get it. I totally understand. But the fact is, this property, The Lone Ranger, no one in the 2000s know what the hell The Lone Ranger is. Only dudes in their 80s on up that dying. Those are the only people that know it. Or someone like even myself, I don't even know who the whole Lone Ranger is. So for me, it would have not even gravitated to me. I don't think this was a right project to give that much money to.
Dude, the radio show started in January of 1933.
Yeah, we're not even born, bro.
As a radio show. It says here, the radio series inspired a spinoff called The Green Hornet. And we just did that movie.
And that was a little bit.
So who knew that they were like tied together? The TV show aired from 1949 to 1957. So I wanted to at least have that because people don't think we're just making this up. This was a TV show. I never saw it. And I think you and the only thing I know about this is when it says, hi-ho, Silver, away. And the only reason I know that is because of Ace Ventura 2.
Yeah.
When he's looking on the screen. and he puts the little eyes on the guy.
Yeah.
Literally, that was my only knowledge of the Lone Ranger.
And the music.
And the music, yeah.
Yep. But, I mean, we'll talk about that. Again, I think Disney really dropped the ball on this. I think, it's funny because this movie, I think we did another movie a long time ago. I mean, we were up to 483 episodes in, but we did another movie by Disney, which is another Disney movie that floppity really bad, was the Get Carter or John Carter movie. Yeah. Yes. Big budget. Disney. But I'm going to be really honest.
We like that movie.
That's what I'm saying. That movie, I didn't see what the big problem was, but this one is kind of weird. I can't wait to sit down and talk about it because when I was watching this movie, I saw a lot of negatives than positives, and I'm going to be honest with you. But with that said, let's see what the critics and audience think first of this film, Nate. What they got?
I'll give you one guess. Do you think the critics or the audience, do you think either one liked this movie? Do you think one might have liked it and one didn't, or they both hated it or they both liked it?
I think the critics gave it like a 40-ish tile, and I think the audience would be in the 30s.
Okay. So you're close. You're close. Uh-oh. And actually flip-flopped. The critics, this has a 31%.
Oh, okay.
With the critics. But you're close, and then the audience is a 51.
Oh, all right.
They're both bad. They're both rotten. Neither one of them is fresh. Didn't hit the 60. But at least audience was like 50-50. However, obviously, it made no money. It did get nominated for 2 Academy Awards, which is ridiculous, but I think it was like costumes and something else. So yes, this is a very, and Disney, to their thinking, I guess, Gore Verbinski directed this movie. And he, of course, did the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So they were like, well, this guy's made us all this money. Johnny Depp. That's why Johnny Depp's in it. He was in Pirates. Maybe we could recapture it with this. And it did not recapture anything. It recaptured losses and failure. But is it bad? I don't know. I mean, we're going to talk about it now. Is it as bad as this sounds?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Lead characters. All right, we got Armie Hammer as the Lone Ranger, and then we got Johnny Depp playing Tonto, the Indian character.
Kimosabi.
All right,
he calls him Kimosabi all the time. All right. I think, and this is going to be a theme throughout this review, I'm just going to throw it out there now. To me, this movie, it has pros and cons. I do think there's things that are good in it, and I do think there are things that are pretty lame in it. The lead character, he's okay. I think he's okay, honestly. He's the only backstory you get is his brother is a sheriff in this town and he went to school or something. He's coming back. He's a lawyer or something. Yeah, he's a lawyer, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so he's coming back home and, and there's a lot of vague stuff. They make it his brother's married to a girl who actually liked him, but they don't really expand on it too much. I feel like there was things that almost made it seem like that kid was his kid and not the brother's kid, but I'm but maybe not. It was very weird. The writing in this movie is very weird. And the lead character suffers for it, I think. I don't think it's that clear. You know what I mean? He's okay. I don't think there's any huge flaws with him other than you don't know too much about him. And Armie Hammer, he's been okay in some movies. I don't think he's the right pick for this movie, personally. I think he looks the part. I don't think he has the charisma that you need for this role. He's in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., for example. I think he's really good in that. I think he fit that character. This, I think you need a little bit more. You know how Seth Rogen, and I know, okay, he's not an action star, but for the Green Hornet, his personality kind of worked because it was comedic. Here, it may not have to be comedic, but you need a bigger personality. And I just don't think Armie Hammer had it. On the other hand, Johnny Depp, yeah, I know he's playing Native American. He's not Native American. We're not even going to touch on that. At least I feel like he played his role well. You know what I mean? This sort of quiet, the sidekick, but he has a backstory. He got more of a backstory than the lead character when they're showing what happened when he was a kid with the watch and the bad guys and all that. I combined them because, they're kind of both the leads. Yeah. And I ended up at a 3. I think they're fine. I don't hate them. If Armie Hammer was better, it might have been a 4. But because he's kind of lesser, I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 3. I was in the middle with this. I felt like the miscast. I agree with you. The miscast was the Lone Ranger. I don't like Armie Hammer. I agree. In this role, Armie Hammer was not as good. Someone else, I think, not Brad Pitt, but someone in the vein of Brad Pitt, where he is. Oh, yeah. He's good looking, but he's a serious. Funny. Yes, very more charisma. I don't know who at the time in 2013. There's so many good actors at the time, but I don't think it would have worked. Johnny Depp while he did work as Tonto, I think he worked very well. I think he did very well. I think the two leads were miscasted in this movie. I think they could have just did it with some other two pairings. But with Johnny Depp, it kind of worked. I think to me, the highlight in the leads was Johnny Depp. Yeah. While he did sound like a Jack Sparrow in an Indian suit, I would have been like, okay. But I kind of liked his quirky. I liked his quirky stuff when he kept feeding the bird on top. I thought that was funny when he shot the bird.
Oh, yeah. Like
yeah. And he fixed it. Again, I thought that was funny. So there was things. I'd see Johnny Depp, which is so weird to say. While this, again, could have been a miscast to some people not. His acting ability is what saved this character. Because he was really funny. He had heartfelt moments with him when he was very serious. But then he dialed it back to the comedic part of the character. So, and then there was parts of the Fear and Loathing Las Vegas character where he's like, oh, batshit crazy. Like when he's doing it. So he works like good with that. So I gave it a 3 because I was 50-50. Yeah. I like Johnny Depp a lot. I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. So I liked him, but Armie Hammer for me didn't work. If there was someone else with Armie Hammer, other than him, worked with Johnny Depp, I would be like, this is dope. The pairing would have worked very well, but it did not for me. So I get it. You're right. Stories, the backstory for the Lone Ranger, to me, just did not work as well as the Native American, the Tonto version of it. So 3 across the board here. All right, main villain of the film. What you got?
Okay, so we have two. Ultimately, we have two villains. You have William Finkner, who's playing Butch Cavendish. We got the messed up face. And then ultimately Tom Wilkinson, who's one of the greatest actors, by the way. Rest in peace, Tom Wilkinson. Love that guy. He plays Latham Cole. He's the rich one. You know, the business, the railroad guy. And then you have the other guy who's more of the brute, murder, outlaw, Western type, you know, villain. I kind of feel the same way about these villains as I did about the leads. I gave them a 3. I think between the two of them, one is better than the other. One is more interesting than the other. And this is going to sound weird. I think Tom Wilkinson, while the way better actor, is the way less interesting villain as the older, rich railroad guy. And William Finkner's character, Cavendish, he's more interesting, but then goes off screen for a long time, a lot of times. But he seems more like a Western villain. You know, he got a posse. They're trying to help him escape. He got his little gang. He's ruthless. He'll kill people. He'll kidnap people. I liked him. And I feel like this movie could have done with just one villain, personally. I don't think it needed two. This is a classic. This happened in Pirates, and this is a Gore Verbinski special. And I like Pirates. Don't get me wrong. We reviewed them. We liked it. But remember part 2 and part 3, where you had like Barbossa and the trading company and the other. It's like, wow, why do we have 11 villains? Yeah, like Davy Jones. Focus on the first movie had one villain, Barbossa. That was it. And it was great. So I feel like if they focused on him, again, I probably would have been at a 4, but because he has to split the time and Wilkinson, good performance. I don't have an issue. Good casting. But I wish they focused on one or the other. Like, just make him or just make the other one, and it would have been better. By splitting it, they split my score a little bit. I gave it a 3. I don't think it's bad, again, but I think it's just fine.
Okay, so when it comes to the villains, I totally agree with you on this. 2 villains, if it worked. I mean, I kind of liked the whole, he's the brother of Cole. Cole is played by Tom Wilkinson.
The reveal that was
his
cool.
Yeah, that he was the brother of his. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. But the one with the crazy face, Butch, I liked his character. They needed him more on screen because he was very vicious and very ruthless. And I was like, and again, I love Westerns and I love where the bad guy is just terrorizing places and killing people. And like, that's his job to make the heroes look better.
The outlaw.
When they're like, the outlaw.
Western. Yeah.
We didn't get that. You're right. He's not on screen as much. Tom Wilkinson's character, Cole, he was on screen a lot more, but they were showing like he was a really good guy over here. But then in the reality, he was a bad guy because his brother's the more outlaw and the crazier one. I agree. I gave it a 3.5 because 2 good actors, 2 great characters in the film. I'm not saying they're like all-time villains, but in the movie, I think they were better than the leads because they both had, while their backstories wasn't as strong, I think their presence in the movie made up for it. If you know what I mean. Like when the bad guys were on screen, you felt it. You were like, oh damn, like what the hell do you do? Especially the scene when he's in the when they're about to take him to get hanged.
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp is like, he shows him with the gun. He's like, I thought that was freaking funny. Like you can see how ruthless he is when he killed the marshal, and then they go on. But I think overall, at 3.5 for me, I think worked for these two characters. All right, so you gave it a 3, gave it 3.5. Now, action.
Okay, I'll be honest. It's got some good action in this movie. It does. It has some good action. For all the negatives I just said about Gore Verbinski, the positives are the guy could direct the hell out of a movie. He honestly can. He has a great visual style. He has a great sense for this kind of thing. I think the action is the best part of this movie. I love, and you know what I like too? Like there's CGI, but not a ton of CGI. Obviously, when some of the trains are you can only do so much. But a lot of it looks like they really filmed on trains, going fast, horses riding. I think the finale is actually great. I do like with the two trains and they're like separated. One's going this way and one's going that way. And there's a horse chase and the horse is jumping. And then the other one's the train. It's fun. And the music is going like that whole finale, I think is honestly great. There's one earlier in the movie as well. That's pretty good. The opening part where Cavendish escapes and all that. Both of the best action scenes involve trains. Go figure. And then in between, there's a little bit of action. You had some some Western stuff, shooting. They blow up a bridge with dynamite. That was pretty fun. So I actually think the action's good. I don't think it's a 5, but I think it's quite good and the best part of this movie, and I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a great. I thought it was 4. I agree with you. It is the best part of the movie. I liked it. I'm not too crazy with like disbelief stuff, but with this movie, I didn't mind the horse riding on top of the train. Yeah. I don't know why, because I don't think I've seen that before in Western movies. When you see the Westerns, the traditional them riding on the dirt and them shooting, or the good guy is running on the top of the roofs and jumping on the train, then running on top of the roofs. So to me, this was kind of creative, seeing the horse running on top of rooftops, jumping into on top of a canopy, and then jumping right onto the roof of the train and continue running. I kind of liked it. I digged it. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And I love the scene that when it's about to go under the tunnel, it jumped right between the train cars. And I was like, okay, that was kind of dope. I was like, I ain't gonna lie, CGI, but it actually looked good and did not look as bad as you say. Like, I don't think, I'm not saying
the CGI was
but I'm
good.
just saying,
it
that's what I'm
that
saying.
much money for a reason.
Yeah, I thought the CGI worked in a lot of spots and it didn't look spotchy. Like it didn't look bad. I thought it looked good. That was my favorite, I think, part of the movie was the horse on top of the thing when the music hit. When he did, it was kind of off. I think it felt off when it came in because they went back to the original one, the way it used to sound. Yeah.
But you know what? When it builds up to the big part of the music, it's good. It works.
It is. But I think when the first one, when it goes and he's standing there, and I was just like, okay, cool. But then once he started running and galloping on top of the trains, I thought it worked. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But yeah, you had that scene. I thought the other scene that was pretty funny too is when Johnny Depp is he's tied up on a thing and he moves the train to block him from getting killed, or was it the other way around? Tonto saved him, with the whip or something like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, okay, you're right. He could direct a lot of good scenes. I liked him. I thought it was pretty cool. The bridge sequence was pretty fun when they dynamite the whole thing and it didn't go off.
Got Helena Bonham Carter with a leg that's a gun.
She was good. She was good. Yeah. You know what's crazy?
She's in like one scene.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, we're in action. We'll talk about it in storyline, but this has a hell of a cast.
Oh, yeah.
You have great actors across the board. Like I said, the action is pretty good. So 4 across the board here. Now what you got for story?
All right. This is actually, we go from the strongest part to the weakest part for me because this movie is so bloated. It is and I think that's a problem with it. That's the main issue with it. Things like 2.5 hours for no reason. There are so many plot threads. Ultimately, some go nowhere, like I mentioned, with the wife of the brother, and don't really care that much. I feel like they were putting characters in here just to put them in here. Like James Badge Dale as the brother at the beginning, you think, oh, maybe. Like it would have been cool if he could have been like throughout kind of helping them, but just as the side. Nope, dies. Okay, cool. And then they kill him. And then that makes the sister a widow. And then there's like maybe a love, but maybe. And it's all silly. there's humor in this, but a lot of it's not that. Some's funny and some's not that funny. I actually think it's funny how the horse just can magically like appear. Like when he's like, how'd this horse get on the roof? Or how'd this horse get like on the tree or what? Like those kind of things were kind of funny. But then like the next thing will be a joke with like the Lone Armie Hammer's not funny. I just gotta put it out there. He's not funny at all. Johnny Depp, kind of funny. Get some funny lines. He delivers them pretty good. I also hate the framework of the movie, meaning that this is all old man Tonto telling this kid in like a circus or a fair or whatever, this whole story. I don't like it. Because then you cut back to this kid. It takes you out of the movie, cuts you back to this kid eating peanuts or whatever. You're like, yeah, but you said this other thing. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. So I wasn't a fan of the way the story's told. I gave it a 2. I don't think it's a 1, but I don't like the way this movie's written. And ultimately the story it's convoluted, but could have been simple. And I hate when they do that. Like you've made this more difficult than it needs to be. So I gave it a 2.
All right. Well, you were nicer. I gave it a 1. I did not like the story. First of all, for a 2.5-hour story, I thought it was kind of blah. Like just blah. You're right. One thing I hate is that never-ending story bullshit where the kid is reading the book and then like halfway through the book, he's like, no, but it gotta be more. And he's eating the apple, some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? And then they go back to the story. Like it interrupts the flow of the movie because it just doesn't make sense. And you're right. Like the whole Tonto thing that he was standing there and I'm like, what? Who is this? And then all of a sudden he talked and I went, you gotta be telling me that Johnny Depp, this old ass phrase you get frail guy, is in a in a circus freak tent.
You just stand still all day? Is that what I'm supposed to believe?
Still.
He's a statue that comes to like, what is this?
Yeah, I'm with you with this, that I did not feel that at all. I did, certain things were kind of funny when he still does the mannerisms with the bird feeding it the peanuts or he's eating the whole nut.
Yeah.
Like, so
weird.
I was like, okay, whatever. But within the story, I did not like the story much because there was so open-ending questions that I was just like, what the hell? At the end of the day, that girl was in love with him, but they don't get together because he's the Lone Ranger. What happened to the damn Lone Ranger after this whole sequence of everything? You don't know. Johnny Depp doesn't tell you what happens to him. He just packs up, put on a suit, and then it vanishes into the damn crow and flies off. I was just like, what did I watch for 2 hours and 30 minutes? I mean, yes, was it an adventure? Sure. Could it have been fake story of him telling it? Sure, it could have been that too. But at the end of the day, it was just not a clarity or a clear story of the Lone Ranger. Like you start off with, you get a little bit origin of the Lone Ranger himself, but you don't see the end result of him. Where did they go? Why did Tonto be by himself during this whole time? Like for me, it was, I'm going to be honest with you, like I did enjoy certain parts of the film. Like I did enjoy it. I thought Johnny Depp was kind of funny in a lot of scenes. But then at the end of the day, I was just like, this shit is boring. It was 2 hours and 30 minutes of nothing. Like of nothing. And and that was the thing back then too. Like in the 2000s, movies had to be like 2 hours and 40, 2 hours and 50 for freaking no damn reason. Actually, I like my hour 20s now.
Yeah. Give me a good 75-minute movie. I'm in and out.
Bro, I mean, they're reporting right now that the Avengers movie is 3 hours plus. And I'm like, I'm not sitting in the theater for 3 hours and 40 minutes, close to 4 hours. Like, no. Like, that's crazy. I mean, but 2 hours and 30 minutes flat, because I'm seeing it right here on the computer. That was way too long for this type of story. This could have been a nice 1 hour and 45-minute movie, and I would have been nice with it. But that said, it was way too long. I gave it a 1. You gave it a 2 overall.
Yeah, overall, I agree with everything you just said. I feel like we feel the same way about this movie. There are elements that I enjoy. The cast is great. I agree with you. Great cast. Helena Bonham Carter. You got James Badge Dale as his brother. You got Tom Wilkinson, William Finkner. Everyone but Armie Hammer is a great actor. I don't think he's that great of an actor. I mean, he's good in the right role, but he's not a great actor overall. Even the sister, she's played by, I think her name is like Ruth Wilson or something. She's a good actress, but like a useless character. So like great cast. I think the movie looks really good. I like the visual style of the movie. I think Gore Verbinski nailed that, right? I don't really love Westerns like you. I don't hate them, but I don't love them. But I think this looks great for a Western movie. I love the locations. I like the train stuff. Great set pieces, action-wise. The problem is there's 2 great action set pieces, and then the rest of the movie is kind of boring. It's not that interesting. The double villains is like, even the reveal where it's like, I thought it was cool, like, oh, these are the brothers that Tonto, but would you agree, like, doesn't that make it feel like Tonto's actually the main character of this movie, not the Lone Ranger? Like,
I think that's what they were alluding to, because he was the old guy in the beginning, and he's telling the story of what he remembers. He's the one who gave them
or traded the watch for the silver. Like, he's the one who set off the whole thing. The Lone Ranger just like stumbled in as a lawyer and all of it. So I think the movie was kind of weird trying to make Tonto the main star because it's Johnny Depp playing him. I gave it a 2. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's horrible. Like, I've seen worse. But it's a disappointing. And you're right. If this was like an hour 45, I didn't even give them 2 hours tops. It could have been better. But as it is, it's a 2 for me.
Yeah, I gave this a 2.5. I think they had some fun. I thought there was some sequences that were fun. Some sequences that was pretty good. I think the acting across the board was really good. Jokes landed. Some didn't. But at the end of the day, I think the length of the movie is what made me not want to watch this ever again. Like, I wanted to, like, I was like, okay, if this movie's really good, I was going to add it to my collection. But knowing that it's a 2 hour and 30 minutes, I'm like, I ain't buying this damn thing because I know I'm never going to watch it again. It's way too long for a movie that's just bland. And I like Westerns, but this is not a Western movie that I could go back and watch because it's just so blah. Like, there's no good story told. So yeah. All right, total points. What you got?
Total points for me is a 14 out of 25.
So I gave it a 14, like you.
Yeah, the same exact score. You gave the overall and the villains half a point more, but you gave the story 1 point less, so it's equal.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're 14 across the board here, which is it's weird when we do this because sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, but on some of these crappy ones, we're always we're seeing eye to eye on this. But did you put this on your pile for trades? There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
It's silver, that third one from the bottom.
Oh, that's it. There it is. It's in his bookshelf.
Bye-bye. I'm never watching it again. I bought it. It's another one. Got it at the bookstore, probably $5 maybe. And I was like, I remember, but I knew we were going to do it. So I was like, let me get it now in advance. And then I watched it and I was like, never again. I'm good. I realized why I didn't watch it in 13 years because I don't even think I liked it the first time that much. So
it makes sense. It totally makes sense when you rewatch it. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like the Green Hornet way better than this one.
Oh, that's not getting traded. That's over here on this shelf. That I will definitely watch the Green Hornet again. I will never watch that again.
Well, it's funny because I own the Green Hornet too, and I don't own Lone Ranger, so it makes sense. Okay. Anyway, with that said, Nate, what is coming up next on the podcast?
All right, we're coming down to we got a few more of the TV shows turned movies, and the next up is going to be moved up. By the way, it was towards the end of the list, but we moved it up because I really actually also really want to watch this movie again. I haven't seen it forever. We're going to be covering Speed Racer now. All the other movies in this are live action shows. This one was actually an animated TV show from Japan.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yes, that got turned into a movie. So you've never seen it.
No, I never.
All right. Well, this is going to be one where it could go either we agree or we totally are opposite sides. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm excited because it's a 4K release coming up. So I'm like, let's do it. So we're going to be doing Speed Racer from 2008. This came out in the summer of, it was like Indiana Jones, Crystal Skull, Iron Man, Dark Knight, and then Speed Racer came out like right in May, I remember.
Was this the directors of The Matrix?
Correct. That was the whole hype around it was the Wachowskis. This was their first movie since the Matrix Resurrections. No, not Resurrections. Revolutions.
Reloaded?
Revolution. Whatever the third one is. The third one. This was the next movie after that, like 5 years later. And it had Emile Hirsch and it was like visually crazy. So that's what we're going to be doing.
All right. Guys, there you guys have it. You guys are enjoying these episodes. Leave a thumbs up or leave comments in the chat on your favorite podcast platforms. Of course, we're there. We're on all podcast platforms under Action Movie Guys. We have the video versions of your favorite episodes up on our YouTube. You guys can head over to Geeks and Flicks on YouTube. So again, it's youtube.com/Geeks and Flicks. We will have season 1 you have graphics, you have all this stuff there for you guys. So we have season 1 up. The first 8 Mission Impossible movies that we're doing. And then, of course, the other 8 of TV shows turned into movies. So you're going to have nice 16 episodes of video versions of the podcast. And, of course, you guys can also take us on the go with the Action Movie Guys podcast available on all podcast platforms. But other than that, I'm your host, Ash Figueroa. My co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.